So, and I mean this as a compliment, but I feel like Edgar is a very specific director in what he wants. So how is it working, your performance in developing the character of Ellie, and how much creative space did you have to kind of develop that character for this movie?
I think Edgar really gave me a lot of creative freedom in developing the character. You're right, he is a very specific director. He knows the shot that he wants to get and he knows how he wants to get it. And that was a really great challenge for me to be more specific. I'm kind of a airy fairy kind of person. A lot of the time, not all of the time, but I kind of tend to take my time with things. I like to kind of utilize the white space, the breathing space in between the lines, and that wasn't always possible in this film because it all is so fast paced. So yeah, it was a great challenge for me to kind of think a little bit faster and to be a bit more precise, I suppose.
Sure. In this movie, you got to share scenes with one of the greatest of all time to ever do it. You got to be in scenes with Dianna Rigg.
Yeah.
How is it kind of like having her as a scene partner, and what were some lessons that you had gotten from her working with her on this film?
I think I really admired her because she's a very strong person. I think this is something that I've been realizing recently, is that it's important to be able to assert yourself, to be a kind person and to be generous and caring, but also to know that you that you belong where you are, that you belong where you're working, you belong in the company of who you're working with. So to be able to assert yourself and to allow yourself to be heard. And I think Dianna was really amazing at that. And she inspired me in that way. And she was an incredibly strong person, but she also loved laughing. She loved kind of messing around like during the rehearsals. We'd be doing less rehearsing and more crowding around Dianna and watching funny videos on her phone.
With this movie, like Ellie's on a roller coaster. And with this movie kind of filmed, I presume it was filmed out of sequence. How did you kind of track where her headspace was at in a given scene? Like, as you were like, okay, so she's about at an 11 right now in terms of like kind of her descent. Like, how is it kind of tracking that progression?
That was really hard, actually. I literally had to write a timeline for myself because I really struggled because we didn't shoot chronologically, we shot it out of order, so it was quite hard to keep track of where Ellie was mentally in that scene. So I had to write out a timeline for myself and kind of refer back to it and check, what have we filmed? What does my character know? And what doesn't she know? Kind of, I don't know, but also it's a slippery slope because you also don't want to try to be playing the whole film within one scene, if that makes sense. So it was a challenge because it was kind of like she went on a real roller coaster.
Sure. And I think I have time for just one more, but with that said, in a horror movie, I feel like you always have to be at 110% in terms of energy and emotion. How is it kind of maintaining that across this shoot?
It was hard. I think I've got a lot of appreciation for my body because there was so much running and so much screaming, and I don't know how I kind of got through it. But I think your body really knows when is the time to like really kind of like to just go for it, to kind of work with you, I suppose, and when you can like kind of, I don't know, like with the right time to get sick. We wrapped, and like the day after I came down with the flu, like my body knew that finally it was okay to get sick because I couldn't afford to before.